Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Went out for brekkie just the other day on Monday. And one of the craziest, I witnessed possibly one of the craziest things.
All right. I mean, lay it out. Breakfast is usually a tame affair. Nothing that crazy can happen.
Usually it is a tame affair, yes, because everyone's only just getting on their coffees. They're not hyped up yet. You know, they haven't had any drinks yet. It's the morning.
Sure.
It's usually the tamest meal of the day, but the most important. So I'm off getting my brekkie, and I'm waiting for my sandwich to be toasted. So I'm sort of waiting outside. It's a little hole-in-the-wall sort of shop. And as I'm waiting, people are ordering behind me, and then some guy comes up, and he goes, he goes, g'day, how are you? Yada, yada, yada. And he goes, just the, I'll get the usual, thanks.
Right.
And then
the usual.
The response was this.
What?
Yeah,
then what?
That was it.
That was it.
That was the
What do you
response.
mean?
There was dead silence for a weird amount of time. About 10 seconds, I think there was dead silence. And they just stared at each other. And then...
That's it. So, man played the usual card and it's backfired. That is a ballsy move, isn't it?
I don't know why he didn't just back it up. But he decided, no. Maybe if I stare her out long enough... She'll be like, oh, of course. The chicken schnitzel roll.
My laser beam focus will hypnotise her into realising a tuna club sandwich is what I usually get.
So then after about 10 seconds of silence, he gave up on that whole affair and said, oh, it's just, yada, 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 whatever his sandwich order was.
That's terrible.
It was awful.
The fact that he had to retreat and, clarify after doing the usual card and say what he actually gets, it's crazy. Because how many times do you have to order something until you think you can say, oh, the usual?
I'm convinced you can never say it.
Never say it, right.
I'm convinced that a customer can never say. If your work stuff and a regular comes in and you know their order and you say, do you want the usual? But I think you can only really do that with coffees and stuff, not food. Yeah. I just feel like food, you could be feeling like a completely different food, but your coffee order's always going to be the same.
See, I literally think, there's no amount of times you should be able to say it until you can go up and say the usual. I think it depends on the shopkeep and whether you're damn sure that they have themselves acknowledged that you regularly get this item.
Look, I am convinced that there is no one that has a usual order that they can go into a place and say, just the usual, thanks.
So I've been on the cusp before. And I say the cusp because I haven't gone up and said the usual quote unquote, but I've been to a bar before and they've said they're like a gin and soda, and I was like yes. So it wasn't as far as that's my usual order, but they just knew that's what I regularly get.
That's not something to gloat about on live radio. That you go into a bar and they know your order.
Well, yeah, I mean gin and soda. At least it's the healthy version.
Is it? Is it? I wouldn't say it is. We're going to open up the text line here, Adelaide. Have you got a usual spot where they know your order? I'm convinced there is no one listening right now.
Nobody at all.
I don't think there is anyone listening right now that has a usual spot where they can say just the usual thanks and they'll bring out their, turkey melt.
I mean, it's such a huge call. Kudos to anyone that has broken that barrier. I would be very keen to hear that.
I did make a big call and say nobody's got a usual when it comes to food. Coffee orders, maybe. Yeah, I'll accept that. But when it comes to food, no one does. And I challenged the Fresh fam, and they've come out firing. There's just too many to get through.
Tom, it blew our minds. When we came out of the last break, we thought, it looks a little bit dead. The Fresh fam there's no usual orders. This has blown up.
Yeah.
There are so many cafes, bars, restaurants where people have usual orders, apparently.
Really blown up in my face. Shout out to the guy who texted in saying, hey, Ben and Liam. That's
nice little jab, mate.
Not us.
Thanks for that.
I guess we'll take it as a compliment. Hey, let's jump straight into our calls. We got Cheryl from Fulham Gardens on the line. Cheryl, good morning to you. How are you going?
Good morning. How are you guys?
Yeah, very well.
Awesome. Cheryl, can you tell us what is the usual order?
My usual is minimum chips with extra chicken salt, and they know I like the extra chicken salt.
Right.
And
so
crunchy chips too.
there's a few little specs to that one. So is that a fish and chip shop or?
Chicken shop?
Yeah, so it's our local
Okay.
chicken shop, and they've got everything from AB to hamburger. I've tried everything, but they know my usual.
And your usual is always just medium chips, extra salt,
Yep.
Crispy.
extra
Yep.
crispy.
Yeah.
What happens
They
if you have you ever gone in there and thought, you know what, I want a large chips today, and they've already given you the medium?
No, I'm happy whatever they give me, really.
And Cheryl,
Anything to
I'll
keep
take
being
whatever
able
they
to say just the usual.
Yeah, they know me very well because I, make friends with them, and they know. I've been. Well, we own the practice across the road for
Right.
14 years.
Yeah, okay.
I was going to say, Cheryl, how many workers are there? Is there ever a case of, there's a different person on shift and they mess up the order, or is it always smooth?
No, you're right. They do go through a few staff, so I just have to reteach them. What my
You will know my order. Don't cross me.
Good on you, Cheryl. Thanks for getting involved,
Thanks,
mate.
Rob.
Cheers. Hey,
Thanks.
let's go to Lily over in Richmond. Lily, good morning to you. What's your usual?
Good morning. It's a bacon and egg sandwich with a hash brown and hollandaise sauce.
Oh, okay.
sounds right.
And is this just at a local cafe or?
Yeah, just my local snack bar.
Yeah, and what you can just say, you can go up to them and just say just the usual thanks, and they'll they know what you're talking about.
No, I don't even have to say that. I just walk in and they just acknowledge me and bring it over.
Oh, my God. Oh, so they just detect a presence in the room.
Yeah. Jeez, the royalties here.
They've got some spidey sensors for the burger. They're like, all right,
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I feel like I need to make this dish right now. Lily might be in the room.
Lily, how many times had you had to go to this snack bar before they knew your order?
Look, it took a couple months, but after that was established, that was it.
In that couple of months, did you ever order anything else to confuse them, or was it always just this one thing?
Just this one thing. The only thing that changed was my coffee order, and they just asked me hot or cold coffee today.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you walk in, you give them the eyes, and they're straight onto your bacon egg roll, your hash brown, your hollandaise sauce.
Yep, that's it.
Jeez, it must be a good life. Good on you, Lily. Thanks for getting involved.
Okay.
Let's wrap things up here with Celeste in Findon. Celeste, have you got a usual order?
Yes, my husband. So he would go to his local Subway every day for work lunch, and he had the same order for weeks and weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day he went into the Subway and he's like, I'm going to have something else. But the server, they just started making the usual
Oh, no.
Subway. And he didn't like the fact that they were predicting his order without asking. So from that moment, he's like, I'm not going to this Subway anymore, and he went elsewhere.
He's changed stores.
Yeah, he changed stores because he didn't like it. It's like,
It's just like, comes home, it's like, honey, I have a feeling the people at Subway are robots. They're programmed for the one thing only. They're not changing it up.
I take it back
Right.
what I said before. No one has a usual order. I don't think anyone else has said, I don't want the usual order and changed stores because of it.
I know, he was very frustrated.
Imagine scrapping the usual. That's great.
Oh, so good. Thanks, Celeste. Thanks for getting involved this morning. Callum, yesterday we all heard a story. It was in staff meeting.
Yeah.
Our boss decided to share it before kicking off the meeting. And, well, strap in, Fresh Fam, because it's a bit of a doozy. So our boss was telling us how he went to dinner with some friends over the weekend. And apparently, the service wasn't too flash.
Yeah.
So to really stick it to them, he kept the pen they left to sign the bill. He's just like, yeah, this will show him.
It was crazy because in the meeting when he was explaining this, it was like he was the victor of a battle.
Also, when he
and
explained it took like 10 minutes. So
Yeah.
we're going to really fly through this story.
we're condensing this, but he literally stood up out of his chair in the meeting to explain that he stole the pen from the restaurant.
Yeah. It
It was like a real, he made a scene of it for sure.
And so then he's forgotten about this pen and he's accidentally popped it in the wash. Funny, right? People do that. It's karma at its best, I
Yeah,
suppose. But what have I done to deserve this? Because my white t-shirt was in the wash too. So I'm hosting a bit of a service here for my white t-shirt. It's been ruined by blue ink.
What a casualty. You know, the shirt was caught in the crossfire of this pen.
Yeah.
You know, the bullets
You know
weren't
what?
meant to hit it, but it did, and it ruined that shirt. What was meant to be a victorious win for our boss turned into the death of something beloved.
It really, truly was. That shirt's been with me for years. Years. I got to say, probably about 6 years I've had this white t-shirt. Doesn't have a single hole. It's not frayed. It's in almost perfect condition. It's a little worn, but I like it that way. That's how I liked him. And now he's gone.
He's worn to the ground, buried, never to be seen. You know what was funny about our
He's
boss?
not gone. He's just blue now. So.
Yeah, I mean, are you going to still wear it though?
No.
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 So it's not really a fashion choice to have a blue stain all down the front. What?
Well, it gets even worse because, I only found out about this yesterday. And this obviously happened at some point in the weekend. But he's just thrown it out.
Has he?
He didn't even ask if I wanted it back. He's just popped it in the trash. And he's ordered me a new one, which he didn't have to do. I would have been happy to take the old blue one.
I mean, I guess it's better he tells you than you go over to the house and see it being used as a kitchen rag. And you're like, whoa, is that my shirt?
Hang on a minute. Does that say Bethany on it? Look, I would open up the text line here. Why not? 0428 927 927. We'll continue the service of my t-shirt, Vale t-shirt.
Yes, if you want to say anything, if you've had any memories with it.
Yeah, but if this has happened to you, let us know on the text line 0428 927 927. Pretty niche. Has someone ruined your t-shirt?
I mean, it's usually...
Could be any part of your clothing.
It's usually your own doing, so I'm curious if anyone has ruined somebody else's. I love that our boss as well, he loved it. He laughed. And he really brushed over it.
Maniacally laughing. I was shedding a tear in the corner out of remembrance.
What a terrible staff meeting. One to remember.
You know what? That's my only white t-shirt as well. It's gone forever. So thank you to our boss there.
Vale the white shirt.
Vale the white t-shirt.
Lower it into the ground today.
We talk about it quite often. Cost of living.
Ugh.
It's not okay.
Yeah.
It's getting to a point where it's out of hand. And if you thought, you know what, screw it, I'll just hermit in my house and not leave to save money. Well, joke's on you, because streaming services have all just had a recent spike up in prices.
It's crazy, isn't it? And I feel like, it's like the tax with beer, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the streaming services. It's pretty regular.
What tax are they getting on a streaming service, though?
Yeah, and it just seems pretty regular that they're going up in price, and it's not just Netflix, it's all the rest.
Yeah, Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus. These are just a few that have had a spike recently, and Apple TV, sorry. But this article's come out to sort of show a way that you can go around to save a bit of money, because everyone has multiple streaming services, right?
Yeah, I'm loaded up on like 6.
Yeah, same.
To the point where
I'm not going to list them because no one wants to hear what streaming services I'm using. In fact, you know what? I will list one, Stan. I never use Stan. I don't know why I had it. I've had it for like the last 2 years, and I think I've used it once.
And if you think about the amount of money you would have spent on that one streaming service like Stan and having not used it, it's quite a bit, isn't it, over 2 years?
Yeah.
I remember when I went to my budget to sort out my finances, and they said, what are you spending money on? And I listed off 6 different streaming services. And the guy's
6
like,
different pubs.
Yeah. And the guy was like, what the hell is Shudder? And I'm like, well, it's actually a streaming service for horror movies. It's a really niche one. So once again, just an unnecessary little facet of my life that you drain money on for streaming services.
But if you do have multiple streaming services and this rise of cost of living is putting you in a bit of strife, here is one way that this article was saying you can save money on using these different services. And basically all they're saying is cancel them. Cancel them and have one at a time. Focus on which one you want. If you have a show you're watching on one of them, maybe 2. Maybe you can get away with 2. Why not? I'm changing the rules here.
Yeah, okay.
But have 1 or 2 at a time. Cancel the rest. And then when you want to move on to a different streaming platform that has a show you want to watch, cancel one you're not using and then get that new one.
Yeah, that's all well and good, Mr. Finance Guru who wrote this article. But what if I want to watch Stranger Things on Netflix and all of a sudden I've got a hankering for The Wire and I need to jump on binge ASAP? You can't live like that.
No.
I want to watch what TV I want to watch at the moment.
Who wants to finish a series in a regular amount of time? I want it to take a year.
I don't want to punish myself and just like binge it all at the same time. You want to have the lax liberties of watching things whenever you want. But, Tom, it did get us talking about all these different cost of livings.
Yes, because the cost of living crisis is so bad at the moment. We want the Fresh Fam to help us out and help out the rest of the Fresh Fam as well. What are your tricks to saving money? Have you got any life hacks that can save you some money? Let's jump right into them.
Yes, we got this one here from Smurf. She said baking bread and wraps herself, it costs about $1.50 a loaf. That is an interesting one.
Yeah, that is. I mean, if you know how to bake bread, that's good. I don't. I have a bread machine, but I don't know how to use it.
It would almost cost more with the fire damage to the house when you mangle the bread and burn down the kitchen.
I know there's something to do with yeast and water, but I don't know. I'll probably end up with beer, knowing me. I got another text in here. Sometimes it's cheaper to go out than to buy groceries and cook at home. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, it's weird how that is the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess if you're not, providing for a whole family and it's just yourself, sometimes it is cheaper just for one individual meal. Someone said here, I have a different bank account with a different lender for my everyday savings that I withdraw $5 every day that automatically goes into the other account. So it's about $35 a week of savings, which I worked out is about $2,000 a year, Tom.
That's pretty good.
Nice little shop for $5 a day.
That's smart as well, because $5 a day, you're not really going to notice it. I mean, just like you don't notice the $100 a month of streaming services. $5 a day, that's nothing. And then you end up with $2,000 at the end of the year.
About $2,000, yeah.
How good is that? Hey, got another text in from Smurf. She's full of the money-saving hacks. She said drinking pre-workout instead of energy drinks.
Right, good one.
Yeah, okay. I reckon that would probably be a bit healthier for you too. I mean, not too sure, but sounds like it would be.
Yeah, Tom, this one's This one's
how you going.
Yeah. I don't do this, but if you... Okay, like, the fact that you said I don't do this, it screams that you do.
Absolutely do.
I don't do this, but if you shower at the gym instead of home, you save on water, gas, and electricity. Also, trying to shower once a day instead of twice does the same.
Yeah.
Jeez, it's on the same vein as the people that take toilet paper from work.
I mean, or you could just cancel your gym membership and save the money there for your water.
Yeah, true.
It's a double-edged sword. Got this text in. I love this one. My hack is simple. A coffee a day at $5.50 is $2,007.50 per year. Buy a coffee machine for work. Everyone will love you for it, and you'll save lots of money too. Not a bad shout. I mean, I'm drinking instant coffee these days because it's free. But wouldn't mind a coffee machine. Might talk to the boss about it.
Exactly. Another money saver. Tom, this one here is very, very funny, but we don't condone it. When going through the self-serve checkout, I always leave the most expensive item till last and don't scan it.
Oh.
Then press pay now and proceed to load all the items back in my trolley. Always good money saved. If the assistant asks me about it, I say, sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a trained checkout operator.
Okay, that is stealing.
Yeah, that's stealing.
We don't condone that. That is not saving money. That is criminal behaviour.
It's barely even clever. It's just I'm not scanning the last item. I'm just chucking it in the trolley. And where's the line where it goes down to, oh yeah, I'll just not scan a second item or a third until you just get a whole trolley full of contraband.
I'll get a Freddo Frog as well. Yeah. You know, what's $1? I won't scan that.
What luxury living there.
Don't do that. Just pay for it or don't get it.
Tom, there's all new ways to enjoy entertainment these days.
Yes.
One big one I've seen is in New York. There's a cinema you can go to where pretty much it's like Gold Lounge, and they'll give you the food that corresponds with what's happening in the scene of the movie.
Yeah, I've seen this. They're big on like Harry Potter and stuff, those movies. All the different foods. Yeah, that looks really cool.
It does look cool. So you'd have things like, the mug cake in Matilda that would come out all of a sudden, or Lady and the Tramp, a bowl of spaghetti comes to your table, stuff like that. So it is a lot of fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
One new one, though, that's really topped this, and I'd say it goes even beyond this realm of entertainment, is the new smell-o-vision that is getting invented.
Yuck.
Yeah, so it's in the invention process. Like, a company is working on it, so we'll see if the smell-o-vision name stays. Because it's a bit off, isn't it?
It doesn't sound great. So what does it do, the smell-o-vision?
So the smell-o-vision pretty much connects up with your gaming console, and it connects with specific games to release different scents into the air. So it works as like an air freshener incense, kind of one of those things.
Yeah, okay.
Blows out whatever scent that corresponds with what's happening in the video game.
Okay, so it's just video games or movies as well?
At the moment, it's just video games, yeah.
All right.
So it's really interesting. If you have a look at the different scents that are on offer, this sounds pretty harrowing for the war games, Call of Duty and stuff like that. Gunfire and explosions you can smell in your room now. Imagine if you were not playing the game, if you're just in another area of the house.
Oh my God.
You're in your bedroom, you're like, what the hell is going on out there?
Someone's got a flamethrower.
Yeah,
like, oh my God.
Under attack. Other ones that are a bit more tame, the smell of forests. So if you're trekking through the forest in a video game, you can smell that. Storms, that rain kind of smell. Racing cars, so like that burnt rubber.
Burnt rubber, yeah.
It's pretty cool. I think stuff like that would be very immersive. Like you would, it's not a pleasant smell, burnt rubber, but I think it would add to the game.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. But there are certain games I think that just wouldn't be good for.
Yeah, and you'd hope you can just turn it off, right? Because looking at a few of these, right, I guess for sports games, you have fresh cut grass.
Okay.
If you're running on a field.
Yeah,
but with that as well,
nice.
you've got sweat.
Ew. Yeah, B.O.
Can you imagine playing FIFA, playing a soccer game, and you just like this sweat reeking everywhere in your house?
I mean, imagine playing the 2001 classic Shrek titled video game. Imagine just smelling swamp. And whatever
goo.
the hell Shrek smells like.
What if you're doing like a really serious heist mission on Grand Theft Auto and you smell a fart and you're like, I didn't need to know someone passed me in this room. This is meant to be a really serious ordeal, this bank heist. It's all a lot more comical now.
I mean, yeah, there'd be plenty of games I think you'd have to turn it off for, right?
Yeah. I don't think you'd be lasting with it for the whole gaming session, right?
No.
Especially right here, you've got... It's what a comparison. It says here on the website, you can have like nice ocean smell, great, or you can have blood. No one wants blood in the room. It's such a hit and miss.
Yeah, it really is. It kind of makes you think, what would you buy this?
I would buy it for the novelty. I'd have to test it out for sure.
Yeah, see
how long it lasts.
It sounds like, to make another Harry Potter reference, Birdie bots every flavoured bean,
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get. It could be horrific.
It could be really nice.
People will never want to come over to your house and play video games ever again. Why would I go there if it smells like blood and explosions and blah, 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 Yeah. So it's a bit off-putting.
Absolutely. It would be nice to play it with like the more, family-friendly games like your sporting games or stuff like that, kids games. But, I wouldn't want to play anything, any sort of FPSs.
Yeah. No, it's a way to exclude some people for sure.
Absolutely.
But, I don't know. We'll give it a crack, see what happens when it comes out. It's not for the future anyway, so we don't have to worry.
Does it have a general release date? Any year they're planning
in a few years' time. It's still quite a while away before people's households are tarnished.
Stay tuned for the smell-o-vision, Adelaide.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.